All right, guys, I got to talk about this story. Well, it's actually about Amanda Gorman. She did an interview on CBS News. I think it was CBS this morning. But let me talk about this, right? Because this kind of bothered me a little bit. This is DJ Wolf Live. All right. First thing first, and third thing first. As you know, Amanda Gorman, the newest Poet Laureate, who spoke at the inauguration of Sleepy Joe Biden. This was the younger who I thought was under 17. She actually was 22. I saw her later on in some videos, in interviews where she actually did look her age. Very beautiful young woman. And, but initially, like I said, when I saw her speak at the inauguration, I really thought she was underage. Because she looks a lot younger. Well, at least she did when she stood at that podium. She looks a lot younger than she is. Now, before I get to saying about my opinion about what she said at the speech, I'm going to talk about the interview within days after the speech that she had with CBS News this morning, where she mentioned the line from the speech about her saying regarding where ancestors came from, and actually I kind of paraphrase a little bit, but she gave props to him, and so the CBS News interviewer, I don't even know his name, but he was like, "Did you just, say this in your head?" I was pretty offended by it, because he's basically saying that by her speaking eloquently about her ancestors and her forefathers coming on boats and rising to the top was something she just say in her head because it was like fantasy. I was really irked by that, and I had to talk about it. You know me. If it's something that's on my mind and it weighs heavy enough on my mind, I will talk about it on this podcast. Because you already know this is for all to hear, baby. And I'm like, what an asshole. I told my wife, I said, this is the same dude that probably works with Gayle King on the CBS News this morning. I said, which is one of the reasons why I don't even watch their morning news. I rarely watch their morning news unless it's a topic regarding like a big interview that Gayle has had with people like R. Kelly. I usually only mess with him. But, or the one that she had with Lisa Leslie about Kobe Bryant, how she tried to throw Kobe Bryant under the bus. She's a fucking cone. But I didn't like what that reporter did with Amanda Gorman. That was bullshit. That was complete bullshit. I mean, it truly was. Because he straight tried to throw her under the bus. No question about that. He tried to throw her right on the bus. And I was like offended by it. I really was. I was truly offended about what he was trying to do. He had no fucks to give about it. He really did. And, she's riding high right now. Was I a fan about the speech itself? Kind of got mixed reviews on it. Was I glad that she had a chance to showcase her talent? Yeah, I was. I'm not going to front. But beyond that, it's okay. But I didn't like it. I was more upset about what the interviewer tried to do on CBS this morning about throwing her under the bus. Talking about, did you say that in your head? As though that black folks can't look up to ancestors or forefathers. Because basically that's what he was saying. What? Are you just imagining things? Yeah. That's what that son of a bitch was trying to say. This is all in your head. This don't really exist. Black folks didn't really do that. He tried to belittle her about what's going on with traffic this morning, man. He basically tried to belittle her, and that in itself was bullshit. He tried to belittle this young woman. Her statement about standing on the shoulders of her forefathers. He literally tried to belittle her ass. And to me, that was bullshit in itself. I was like, dude, you had no respect for this young woman. She's telling you about her mantra. Okay, that's her motto. And he said, do you say this? Do you always say this in your head? She just said it at the speech. The very thing she said in the interview was what she said at the speech. And he just completely disrespected her. That goes to show you white people, I'm not going to lie. It goes to show you got white people out here that just don't give a shit about your culture, especially if you're black. They spit on it. They trivialize it. They joke on it. Even when you try and give some respect on it, they still disrespect you. This girl, I think is she a Harvard graduate or she currently at Harvard or something like that? And she still gets no shot. She still was getting disrespected. And I'm offended by that. This woman, this young girl is a very intelligent young woman, and she still get no respect. I'm gonna try to locate the interview, and I'm gonna try to play. I really am. I'm gonna try to get that audio on my podcast and on my YouTube channel to post it because that's bullshit. Because I'm definitely gonna point it out. I'm gonna go in on that ass. So I don't know the guy's name, but I'm gonna definitely call him out. I will be calling him out real soon because this will be for all to hear. Believe that. I was so pissed when I heard about that. I was so pissed when I saw that interview. It was a snippet from an interview, but of course, white people gonna try to double down that shit. As soon as black people are getting asked about that mess, he's gonna definitely try to double down like a little bitch. I can guarantee it's gonna happen. He's going, well, I really didn't mean to say that. It was just something I just didn't think about at the time, and I just got caught in the moment. And blah. Anything to try to double down instead of just take responsibility for what they did. That's the long-standing history of racism in this country. They keep doing the same mess to us, whether it's physically or verbally, and they take no responsibility. It's never their fault. It's never something that they did. It's always somebody else's issue. It's always somebody else's problem. But it's always their excuse to get out of it. Now, I'm going to keep this in mind. I don't hate white people. I really don't. I just don't like the bullshit that they've done to my people for 400 fucking plus years and continue to get away with it and not want to address the 800-pound elephant in the room. It's funny when you bring up race, they don't want to talk about it. But it's also funny, anything that happens in the black community, they want to blame it on everybody in the black community. Ain't that a bitch? Boy, I tell you, you point out a certain group of white people who have ties, associations with white supremacy, and you point that out, they double down. And you're not even calling out the entire white community. But as soon as a Ray or Pookie do something messed up in the black community, they calling out every black person in America. Trust me, I know I've had several conversations with white people and stuff like that. They do it every damn time. Every damn time. Don't deny it. Y'all know it. Man, stop somebody already on the road. Oh, They ain't trying to stop. No, Jesus. Dude, you better pull over. Those cops out here ain't playing. They finally pulled over. It took them a minute. I mean, he right on the road. They had the full shoulder right there, and they just pulled over. It took them 5 minutes. Anyway, but what I'm saying is that they don't take us serious about anything. I mean, even when she was talking about standing on the shoulders of our forefathers as they come off and they came in on boats to rise, which is basically what she was saying. And he's like, oh, is that what you say in your head? So all you think about is what your forefathers did every time you get ready to make a speech or something like that. Or that's what you believe. Yeah, that's what she believed. What's wrong with that? That's her heritage. What's wrong with that? Okay? I remember years ago, and I probably talked about this on my podcast before. I'm going to talk about it again. I had a conversation with my father several years ago. I think it was probably about maybe in the mid-2000s. This is long before all this stuff started. Black people started getting messed with again. Not that we were never messed with. We always have been messed with by racists for decades and continue to do so. But before we heard about all this crazy mess going on the last 10, 12 years out here with these cops gunplaying on innocent black folks, I told my dad, I said, you know what? I've been thinking about our heritage and our people and our family and where we came from and all that. And I told him, I said, look, I'm proud to be black. I wouldn't want to be anything else but black. Black is all I know. Being African American is all I know. We have a strong heritage. And I said, I think, unlike white folks, the differences between them and us is we can survive. We've learned to survive. And I even broke it down from slavery on up. How we went through all this stuff on the boats, the slavery, Renaissance, segregation, Jim Crow, and all this stuff that's been going on. We still survive. And that's basically what she was saying. Now, my wife and I, we watched a show called House Hunters. I know you guys, a lot of people I know watch. I was surprised the number of people that I know at work and everywhere else that watch the show. It's a great show. And they don't do a whole lot of black families on this show for some reason. I don't know why. But a lot of shows are like that. But makes you wonder. Anyway, one thing I noticed when I watched this show, how black folks are very appreciative when they're shown these houses and stuff. They don't make a whole bunch of big deal about doing this, that, and the other. And these usually are pretty modern houses. Okay? But white folks get on their mug. And I've seen several times, or several occasions of this series, where I've seen white folks get extremely nitpicky. And these are white folks with means. They're going to a house, and even some would not have the means that others have. They go to a brand new house, or a house that may have been maybe about a couple years old, something like that. And many of them come in and say, well, I got to renovate a floor. Beautiful floor. Beautiful kitchen. First they say, I don't like the quiz. I got to renovate all this stuff. Rearrange it. I said, rearrange what? It's a house. It's a new house. Nothing to rearrange. And my wife and I be like, there's nothing wrong with that. You just want it to be your own taste. And I understand that. What I don't understand is that you don't seem appreciative of how nice that house really is. It's a lot nicer than you give it credit for. I saw a house like that in Atlanta. They did outside of Atlanta on House Hunters about a year ago. It was very open. It was an open space, kitchen, dining room, And I mean that map tapper was laid out. Laid out. I mean, it was a matter of fact, I think it was pretty new home. The home, I only think it was maybe, if it was a year old, if that. You know, it was a moderately new home. It was a beautiful house. I mean, everything inside, out, oh my God. The dining room, kitchen room was laid out. And I'm talking about laid out. One of the best looking, to this day, one of the best looking first floor houses I've ever seen. So the couple walked in there. It was the last house, I think, that they looked at. I mean, gorgeous house, inside out. Immaculate, impeccable. I mean, gorgeous. I wouldn't have changed a thing personally. Of course, a white couple was in there. The first thing they talking about, well, we're going to go ahead and regut the entire dining room kitchen. I looked, I was like, my wife, like, huh? And sure enough, they did. And I think they were moving. I think they either moved in there or they were doing it before they got ready to move in after they made the purchase. And I'm like, this is the dumbest episode I've ever seen. Because I talked to a coworker about it. He said the same thing. It's like, white people are appreciative of what they get. They're not. They tore up the entire kitchen and down. And I'm like, what was you going to renovate to? They never did show that. But I mean, it was just, they literally just totally just stripped it down. It looked horrible when they stripped it down, by the way. They didn't finish it, but I'm like, well, I was like, what was wrong with it in the first place? Nothing. That goes to show you how they're not appreciative of anything. They're not even appreciative of people being people. And that's why I'm trying to break it down. They don't appreciate nothing. They just, they want to rearrange everything. They want to rearrange us. They want to rearrange our thought process, which is what the interview, and that's why I'm going to get into this point, what the interview was trying to do with Amanda Gorman. Do you say this? This is something that you say in your head? She just told you that was her mantra, so she doesn't necessarily say it in her head. But it's the same mantra that she actually talked about in her speech. So it wasn't just in her head. And what she said in her head was fact, based on facts. Okay? But she is a poet laureate. So, yeah, she's going to say on stuff based on stuff that this actually happened. So it wasn't just in her head. But, of course, he's trying to dictate the thought process in her head by trying to make it look like, oh, she's just imagining shit. That's not exactly what really happened. But that is what happened. It's just her view on it. And there was nothing wrong with that. Because it's based on fact, not fiction. I'm out.